Gurmagat, Las Cancorla. Often in contributing to the COVID debates, I think it feels that you're speaking on shifting sands, and that's because COVID continues to give us changing circumstances. It continues to be inconsistent, and I suppose the prime example of that was it is only a few weeks ago in this House when we renewed the emergency powers legislation, the lead opposition party said that these restrictions were long past their sell-by date, and yet we are now back at the stage where restrictions are being examined. And I don't say that as any criticism of the opposition, because the COVID pandemic does shift and turn. Variants do emerge. This time last year we were facing into a Christmas with a new variant, with COVID restrictions being discussed and proposed, and we saw that throughout the following number of weeks that variant had a devastating impact on numbers here in this state. So I do think it's worth, being concerned about Omicron. We don't yet know all of the data, but I think it's important that the government has taken the measures and steps that they have taken, because I believe we are better prepared than most European countries for dealing with Omicron. We can see across Europe countries are examining new restrictions. The Netherlands have bars and restaurants now closed at 5 p.m. and are extending that into the holiday season. Austria and Germany have our proposals where unvaccinated people are not permitted to use certain types of retail. And the UK, I think, has gone from appearing to have a very laid-back approach to this pandemic to scaling its warnings up. And I'll return to that in a moment. So I do believe the government's approach to this, we were never zero COVID, we were never let it rip. We always constantly sought to manage the risk and the freedoms, and I believe that we have got that right. We have got it wrong on occasions, of course we have, but on balance, Ireland has managed this pandemic well. And I say that not as some self-serving way on this side of the House. I say it as an objective. Observers have said it. We have one of the lowest death rates in the European Union, lowest mortality rates. We won the highest vaccination rates. The Bloomberg index that balances restrictions, freedoms and COVID incident rates continuously has us in the top tier. Of course, there are things we can do differently, but by and large, Ireland has managed this pandemic well, and many people I meet acknowledge that. What I do think is so important with Omicron on the horizon is the issue of the booster vaccine. Now, we still are awaiting details on Omicron, but it is very, very worrying. When you look at some of the data coming out, it would appear that previous infections offer little protection against reinfection. It would appear that vaccines like the Sputnik and Sinopharm and even AstraZeneca offer ineffective, perhaps even very poor resistance to Omicron. And so that means that many people out there that are awaiting a booster want to avail of it. Of course, we had very limited use of AstraZeneca in this island, and the cohorts which were targeted with it have now, by and large, received their booster dose. But I'd say to anybody out there that is due to receive a booster dose and hasn't yet availed of it, that has perhaps taken one of those vaccines that we have concerns about, go and get your booster dose. If you've been infected before and you think, I won't need another booster, the evidence would appear to suggest that you need to go and get a booster shot. And that means government has to do better than we've done with the 1.4 million vaccine boosters that we've done already. We're only 20 days since Omicron became a variant of concern, and I believe that the booster programme has given us a significant level of protection. It was just today I received a call on the way to the chamber. My daughter's dental appointment for January has been cancelled now because the dentists are going to be included in the vaccination programme. I believe that when we get to the other side of January, we will have come a long way. And do you know why I believe that? Because I trust the HSE and the vaccination programme, because they have the track record. And while everybody is right to have concerns, we have had one of the best vaccination programmes in Europe, and I have no reason to believe why we wouldn't have one of the best booster vaccination programmes. Minister, I would ask you to consider the evidence as it emerges around AstraZeneca. I'm deeply concerned that thousands of people on the north of this island received AstraZeneca as their primary vaccination. We don't know yet when they will receive their booster. We know that they have not had restrictions for a significant amount of time. And we also know that infections in one part of the island invariably lead to infections elsewhere in the island. So I would say to the public who are eligible for their vaccine, if they have taken AstraZeneca or other ones, please get your booster. But I would say, government, we need to have a contingency if those in the north of Ireland do not receive their boosters at the same speed as we do down here, because we need to respond to the people in the north of the island. They are as much a part of our island and of our country as anybody else. And if we get our booster programme done, I believe we should step in and assist those in the north as well. Gurmagut.
Thank you very much, Deputy